Basic fact, you look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it?
True.
Sir. Wow.
The ladies of The View absolutely melted down yesterday after an old clip of JD Vance resurfaced where he essentially accused the left-wing coalition of being comprised of a bunch of childless cat ladies, which, you know, I think you can tell by the reaction of some of the people on The View. It's actually kind of accurate. Now, there's probably a reason why they take that so personally and they find that so offensive and insulting. But folks, we're going to react to it today and you can see. So if you enjoy the content, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you are new. And without further ado, just take a listen to this. It is pretty hilarious to say the least.
Just a few weeks ago, a lot of Democrats were feeling a little out of sorts about what was going to happen in November, but Vice President Harris continues to build excitement about her presidential campaign, where she's laying out exactly what's at stake. Take a look.
Donald Trump wants to take our country backward. He and his extreme Project 2025 agenda will weaken the middle class. Like, we know we got to take this seriously. Can you believe they put that thing in writing?
Which, let's just reiterate again, is not Donald Trump's agenda. They keep saying this. Nobody will fact check it, but it's the media. What do you expect?
Stop Donald Trump's extreme abortion bans because we trust women
also
to make
not
decisions
accurate.
about their own body and not have their government tell them what to do.
You know, now, on the other side of the aisle, rumors are growing that Republicans, are second-guessing their VP choice.
Oh, yeah.
And resurfaced with a video of JD Vance, and it's not really helping him connect with a lot of voters. Take a look.
We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own lives and the choices that they've made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just a...
True, by the way. I think there's a reason why the ladies of The View are so pissed off about that. Nothing wrong with having cats. Some people aren't having kids or not able to have kids, but it's objectively true. Yeah, it is kind of an accurate summary of the majority of the Democrat coalition. So,
basic fact, you look at Kamala Harris, Pete Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by people without children. And how does it make any sense that we've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it?
True.
Sir. Wow. There are people who have chosen not to have children for whatever reason. There are people who want to have children who cannot. How dare you? You never had a baby. Your wife had a baby, but you never had a baby. So you know nothing about this. And how dare you? And women, you heard how he thinks of you.
Yeah.
This is not good for you, JD.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, I mean, it's
What the hell?
It's so mean against. It's so mean against cats. I mean, why do Republicans hate animals? One of them once shot a puppy. Now he's dragging poor cats into the situation. What is their problem with animals? And you know, Trump doesn't have a dog. No, he's the only president in my lifetime who doesn't have a freaking dog because he doesn't
have a cat either.
He skeeves them, you know.
No, he has no answer.
Okay, so you're insulting Trump for not having a dog, but when JD Vance insults Democrat politicians for not having babies, for not having children, that's like, I think actually the other one is worse. Okay, you don't have a pet, whatever, who cares? Children are basically necessary for the proliferation of civilization, right? They are the future of our country. Dogs are pets, you know, and I like dogs, but dogs are pets. So you know, they're not essential to like continuing, I don't know, the human species in most cases, okay? So...
Yeah. But, you know, I think
JD.
that to your point that JD Vance may get the heave-ho, I think it's very hard for Trump to get over the fact that he called him America's Hitler. Even though he reneged on it, he said...
He probably thought it was a compliment.
Well, I'm sure Trump thinks it's a compliment, yes, for sure. But I mean...
What?
Hard one to get over, I think, when someone calls you the most disgraceful, the most evil person in the world, and now you say, I didn't really mean it.
Well, I find that
He's history pretty soon. Just watch.
well, in hearing that clip, there's so many places to go. The people that can't have kids, the people that have proudly chosen not to, But the part that really disgusts me is that he thinks by the fact that you have children, that's how you look through the lens of politics. I have children, and I can assure you that is not my first thought when I think about politics.
Pause, ladies and gentlemen. She has children, but she does not think about them as the first thing when she thinks about politics. Doesn't that tell you actually everything you need to know? Okay, right? These people don't care about the future of their country, even when it relates to their own children and the nation that their kids are going to inherit. Yes, JD Vance's point there, I think proven 100% correct. These people are miserable and they do not have a stake in the future, and their policies reflect that. Their policies reflect that. They don't care about the future of America, even as it pertains to their own kids. You know, I don't know if they're okay just looting America of its current wealth and not giving anything back, or just they have some type of sadistic wanting to see America be destroyed. I don't know, but she kind of just admitted that, did she not? Because I would think that if you're someone with kids, yes, the future nation they're going to inherit, that should be the first thing that comes to mind. To her, it's not. Tells you everything you need to know.
My kids are going to obviously be affected by that, but anyone with a heart will look at the moral clarity of the decisions we're making here. The people that are at risk here, like women facing issues about the agencies of their, and he touches on that in his quote, but the agency of their own bodies. I care about all the women that are dealing with that. That's not my body right now. I've done some stuff. But the environment, the fact...
So she cares more about random women than her own kids. Okay, all right.
That whenever we talk about environment, Joy, you always look over me and you say, I worry for my grandchild.
And yours. And
yeah,
your
but I worry for me. It's Mother Earth. We're here to rent it, not destroy it. That pisses me off, how we treat things. And the last thing is poverty. Poverty pulls on the heartstrings. And I look, my kids have something to eat. I've had something to eat every meal of my life, sometimes much too much to eat. But my point here is, it's not my kids I'm worried about. It's every kid and every person and every human that doesn't. So if you have a heart in your chest... and
then why do you support the inflation of the current regime? Why do you excuse that? Why do you defend that? These people are so insufferably dishonest.
You are only looking through the lens of your own family. You are part of the problem.
Well, I think what's, to your point...
Well said. Thank you.
The way what I was hearing is, unless you have a child, you don't have a stake in this country because you don't have a stake in the future of this country. And that is a very myopic view of this world, because as you said, there are people that don't have children by choice. There are people that don't have children because they can't have children. And there are very young Gen Z voters that are in college that are one of the growing demographics of voters that don't have children yet. They're children themselves, but they're teenagers and they can still vote. So I think it's a...
I think the greater point here pertains to people who went through their entire lives without ever having children. But then at the same time, I would also say that, yes, it is kind of true that maybe someone my age who's not yet really built their own life, kind of bought property, you know, settled down, put roots down in the ground in America. Yes, even arguably it's true. People my age, including me, do not have the same stake in America that someone who is a father or a grandfather or a grandmother, you know, a mother with a bunch of kids and, you know, a property, all this stuff has the same exact stake. So either way, I don't understand even the point being made here.
Myopic view, but what I want to talk about is Kamala Harris. See, that's the Kamala Harris that we know. That's the prosecutor versus the felon. That is the matchup that I needed. That is the matchup that this country needed, because it's a stark, stark difference. She is pointing out that economic justice is on the ballot, educational justice is on the ballot, healthcare justice is on the ballot. These are her words. Reproductive justice is on the ballot. Justice for children is on the ballot. You need a prosecutor at this time. And when you compare her with the felon in chief, there is no comparison.
The oldest felon also we've ever had.
Felon. And I think that's why...
These people supported BLM 4 years ago, by the way.
And one last thing I want to say is,
I got you.
900 pages, that's Project 2025. I know people don't like to read 900 pages.
They don't have
read,
to.
Read a
We'll
little
tell
bit
you.
of it. Read a little bit of it. It is a scary vision of America, and JD Vance is the face of Project 2025.
So
ahead, baby.
two things are blowing up my phone because I'm everyone's political friend. So people.
All right, well, I think that's enough brain cells lost from watching The View for one day. But look, I think here's the point, honestly. Okay, joking aside that JD Vance is making, it's objectively true, by the way. This is not an attack on people who don't have kids or never did have kids or whatever. But the truth is that, yes, I would argue that people with children who have planted those roots in America, yes, do have a greater stake in America's future than people who don't, right? And I think to some degree you do see this in the voting participation trends, right? Because once you own property and once you have children, you start caring more about civic engagement. You start caring more about the community around you. You become a little bit more, I guess, selfless of a person because those things affect you, right? What kind of school will my kid go to? What are the property taxes, et cetera, et cetera? You kind of, I guess, are more planted in the ground, I suppose, in this country, in the United States. And I think what JD Vance is saying, he's not just trying to attack people who never had kids or can't have kids or whatever, but it is to say to some degree, it's very telling, yes, that a lot of the top Democrat leadership that now includes their very nominee for president never did this, right? They never planted those roots in the ground. And in some way that correlates to the ideas that they support because they do not have a stake. They do not really care about the future of this country. And if anything, they are kind of letting it burn to the ground, right? Because I think the point there is perhaps, maybe just perhaps, and obviously there are plenty of Democrats with children, whatever, but we're talking about the broad trend here, right? The general attitude. If someone like Kamala Harris actually did have children of her own, maybe she would have a greater stake in, say, not wanting the immigration crisis to, bankrupt American society. Maybe she would care more about preventing World War III and not want to continue marching us towards it, right? Et cetera, et cetera. And the same, by the way, is true of some of the neocon Republicans, and you might know who I'm talking about there. But anyways, that's the point. Just something to think about. That said, folks, let me know your thoughts on this segment in the comment section down below. And you can clearly see they are turning up the temperature to try to go after JD Vance because I think actually in real America, after he gave his speech at the RNC, he's kind of popular. So now they're trying to, he said this, he said that. You can see the campaign they're on. We'll see if it's successful. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe if you are new. And until next time, God bless and peace.